What happens when a school bully picks on the wrong 72-year-old woman? 10 seconds later, nobody was laughing. They called him Jay because of his last name, Jamal Jackson. At 15, he stood 6 feet 1 inch with a patchy mustache he insisted made him look older. He roamed the halls of Frederick Douglass Middle School in Dayton, Ohio, like he owned the place shoulders back, chin high, hoodie slung low, even in the biting chill. Ever seen a kid treat school like it's his personal stage? That was Jamal. He had a quip for every teacher, a scowl for every hall monitor, and a crew of boys shadowing him like loyal sidekicks. He didn't just talk by moved big, slamming locker doors, sneakers screeching across the tiles, shoving past people like they were invisible. Nobody called him out, not the teachers, not the security guard, not even the vice principal, who just sighed like he'd long since thrown in the towel. One Tuesday morning, Jamal rolled in late, as usual. He swaggered through the front doors just as the first bell echoed, acting like the school revolved around his clock. Phone in hand, he tucked it away and spotted a scrawny sixth grader hustling toward the office, clutching a cracked Chromebook. "Yo, watch it," Jamal snapped, planting himself in the kid's path. The boy flinched, mumbling, sorry, like he'd committed a crime. Jamal grinned and trailed him down the hall. "Y'all always so jumpy," he said, loud enough for the stragglers to hear. "This ain't jail." His crew tie, Marcus and Lil D, real name Darius, but nobody risked calling him that, chuckled behind him. Jamal barged into the front office like it was a gym locker room. No real purpose, just fishing for something to mess with. "Yo," he announced, grabbing everyone's attention. "Y'all got snacks in here or what? Smells like somebody's grandma been cooking." That's when he saw her back turned, standing by the receptionist's desk. She wore a navy blazer, sensible shoes, and a wide-brimmed hat dotted with tiny silver studs that glinted under the buzzing lights. She didn't react, just shifted slightly, her posture ramrod straight. Jamal couldn't resist. "Whose grandma is this?" "Miss Pearl from down the street." His voice snickered, but she didn't budge. That quieted irked him, egged him on. He stepped closer, too close, brushing her arm on purpose as he leaned against the counter. She didn't flinch. "Jay, chill," Ty hissed from the doorway. But Jamal was locked in now, ego on overdrive. "Ain't you supposed to be knitting somewhere, lady? You lost or what?" She turned then, slow and deliberate, eyes pinning him like darts. She didn't speak at first, just stared. Then, in a voice smooth but edged like a blade, she said, "I suggest you step back, Jamal." He blinked. People usually fumbled or looked away at her. "Nah, I'm good," he said, inching closer. "You don't even know me." A faint smile curved her lips, not warm, but the kind that warned you a lesson was coming. The receptionist peeked at her walkie-talkie. The vice principal, mid-coffee sip, poked his head out of his office. They all knew what Jamal did, and this wasn't just some elderly woman. Before he could toss another jab, something shifted faster than he could process. He squinted, trying to size her up for stillness, hands clasped over a leather clutch like she was humoring a child's tantrum. It threw him. "Look, I'm just saying," he pressed, forcing a laugh. "You bold as hell walking in here with no cane or nothing." "Props." Still unfazed, she replied. "You think you're funny?" Her tone stayed level, but it cut deep. Funny only works until life starts collecting dues. Jamal scoffed, glancing back at his crew for backup. Ty and Lil D weren't laughing anymore. Marcus shifted like he wanted a bolt. She turned to the receptionist. "Miss Linda, please let Principal Hayes know I'm here. Tell him Sergeant Brooks has arrived." The air thickened. "Sergeant." The word lingered like a warning shot. Principal Hayes had called her? Jamal straightened, playing it off. "Wait, hold up, Sergeant." "Yes, son," she said, locking eyes with him again. 22 years in the Army. I've handled real trouble and boys like you. You're not trouble. You're a project. And I'm real good at fixing those." It hit harder than he'd let on. "Man, whatever," he muttered, stepping back, trying to save face. But Mrs. Evelyn Brooks wasn't finished. She faced him fully, clutch resting on her arm like a weapon she didn't need to draw. "Where's your class, young man?" He looked away. "Why you care?" "Because I'll be in it. Starting today. Principal Hayes asked me to sub for 8th grade history room 208, right? Jamal's stomach dropped. That was his class. MS. Carter had been out sick for days. He stared at this woman barely 5 feet 4 inches, looking like she belonged at a church social, not steering his fate. "Don't worry," she said, gliding past him with purpose. "We'll have plenty of time to get to know each other." He stood there, mute, as the door clicked shut behind her. The office went still. Miss Linda peered over her glasses. "Boy, you just enrolled in a class you ain't prepared for." "Man, she ain't even a real teacher," Jamal grumbled. The vice principal stepped out, coffee in hand, shaking his head. "She's more than a teacher. Trained troops, led units. We brought her in special, cause some of y'all treat this place like a free-for-all." Jamal felt something unfamiliar, not fear, not rage, but a quiet nudge that he wasn't running the show anymore. By the time he trudged to room 208, that nudge had grown into a full-on wake-up call. The classroom sat at the end of the first-floor hall, near a busted window nobody bothered to fix. He dragged his feet, half hoping she'd vanish if he stalled long enough. No such luck. There she was, Mrs. Evelyn Brooks, marker in hand, writing "Strength is discipline" in bold, clean strokes across the whiteboard. The room was silent at first. Usually, it was chaos. Kids chattering, tossing stuff, teachers barking to be heard. Not today. You could hear pencils scratching. Jamal's usual back row throne felt miles away. He pushed the door open. "Nice of you to join us, Mr. Jackson," she said without turning. "Take a seat." Someone stifled a laugh. He for Zeno one used his last name unless he was in deep. Eyes darted his way, but nobody spoke. Everyone was waiting. He sat. She turned, calm as ever, scanning the room. "I'm Mrs. Brooks. I don't shout, I don't chase, and I don't repeat myself." She let that settle. "No books or laptops today, just a question. Write this at the top of your paper. Who am I when no one's looking?" Groans rippled, but they were hushed. Even Jamal, who'd normally clown around, just slouched and folded his arms. She paced the aisles, steps deliberate, like every move mattered. When she reached him, she paused. His paper was blank. "Nothing to say, Mr. Jackson?" she asked, voice low. He stared ahead. "Don't know what you want. I don't want you to say anything. I want you to think. That's your real problem. You're louder than your mind, and that's a risk." He met her gaze for a split second. "I know boys like you," she went on, not harsh, just clear. "You think if you strut hard and talk big, no one will see the kid scared behind it all." The room held its breath. She moved on, leaving him reeling. At the front, she said, "Truth is, there are 2 types in this world. Those who coast on fear, and those who earn respect. Fear fades. Respect sticks." A hand shot up Lila, the quiet girl who never spoke. "Were you really in the army?" Mrs. Brooks smiled. "Yes. 22 years. Started as a grunt, retired as sergeant. I've been in places where life's cheap, taught grown men to value theirs. Now I'm here because your principal thinks some of you need that lesson too." She didn't say it like a warning, just a fact. Jamal stared at his empty page, pencil in hand. Something stirred not a full shift, but a crack. Then his pride roared back, setting off a chain reaction he couldn't undo. Lunch hit, and he couldn't shake her those eyes that saw through him, unafraid, like she'd faced worse and he was small time. "You're louder than your thoughts, and that's dangerous." It gnawed at him. At his usual cafeteria corner, the vibe was off. Ty scrolled his phone. Marcus munched silently. Lil D picked at his fries. "You good, Jay?" Ty asked. "I'm straight," Jamal mumbled. "She just threw me off, acting like I'm weak." Lil D glanced up. "You did shove her on purpose, though. She didn't even twitch. That's kind of dope." Jamal leaned back. "Man, whatever. I ain't shook by no old lady." But he was not of her strength, but her calm. It shrank him in a way noise couldn't fix. "Felt like she clocked you," Jay, Ty said. "Like, didn't even blink, just hit you with words, and everybody paid attention." That landed. He tried to pivot talk shoes, tick-tock, but the heaviness stuck. By 5th period, he decided Mrs. Brooks wasn't about to own his school. He'd remind her who Jamal Jackson was. After the bell, he marched to the office, claiming he needed to tweak his schedulia lie. She'd be there. She always signed out in person. Sure enough, there she was, same clutch, same hat, same quiet force. He stepped up, closer than before. No crew, just him and his brewing storm. She turned. "Didn't I tell you to back up?" she said, soft but piercing. He clenched his jaw. "You don't scare me." "I'm not trying to scare you," she replied. "I'm trying to save you." He rolled his eyes. "From what?" "From yourself." That did it. Pride flared, voice rising. "You don't know me." He stepped forward, bumping her shoulder again, not hard, but deliberate. "Big mistake." The room froze. Miss Linda stopped typing. A counselor in the doorway halted. Even the copier hushed. "Mrs." Brooks didn't stumble or shout. She grabbed his wrist just firm enough, leaned in close, and said, "Let me tell you something, young man. Where I'm from, disrespect has a price. Your problem? No one's billed you yet." His face burned. He yanked back. "What, you gonna hit me?" She stepped away, arms crossed. "I don't need to touch you. Life will handle that if you keep this up." The vice principal swooped in, stern. "Jamal, my office. Now." "Mrs." Brooks turned like she'd said her piece, but Jamal wasn't done. "Man, this school's fake. Y'all let some old lady roll in and talk wild?" "I ain't scared." She paused, then, without looking back, dropped one last line. "Better to be old and wise than young and dumb. Wisdom lasts. Folly gets buried." What came next blindsided, even her, and flipped everything. Jamal sat across from Principal Hayes, legs jittering, hoodie up like a shield he couldn't shed. Hayes was quiet at first, then leaned in, hands clasped. "You know who she is?" Jamal rolled his eyes. "Yeah, army chick, retired, whatever." "No," Hayes said, sharp. "She's more. She's seen war, real war. Iraq, Afghanistan. Led soldiers who didn't want leading, and they respected her. You think she came out of retirement for you? She's here because I begged her, because you're not the only one smashing through life like it's a game." Jamal shifted. "She didn't have to grab me, though," he muttered, knowing it sounded flimsy. Hayes' eyes narrowed. "She didn't hurt you, she stopped you. Big difference. You're lucky she's got that control. You touched her twice." "I didn't hit her." "You disrespected her twice, front of staff, students, yourself." That last bit cut deep. A long silence. Then Hayes said, "She'll talk to you, but only if you ask. She's in 208 now, packing up. Walk out and keep acting like the world's yours, or go ask a woman who's seen humanity's worst how she kept her spirit intact." Jamal didn't budge. 10 minutes till she's gone," Hayes added, standing. The hall felt longer, quieter. His sneakers barely squeaked, had no audience, just the buzz of lights and a knot in his gut. Room 208's door was ajar. "Mrs." Brooks was at the desk, slipping papers into her bag, hat off, gray curls tight against her head. He lingered, then knocked. She looked up, silent. He scratched his neck. "I didn't mean to." "Yes, you did," she cut in. "Every step, every word. Don't lie, just cause it backfired." He nodded. She was right. I don't know why I get like that. I get mad quick, and then I don't even know what I'm doing." She studied him, then pointed to a chair. "Seat." He did. She leaned forward, hands laced. "Think anger makes you tough?" "I guess. I don't like people thinking they can walk over me." She shook her head. "In the army, I learned the loudest ones are usually the most afraid. The quiet ones who listen, who wait, who know their worth, those are the ones you don't cross." He looked down. "Ain't nobody ever talked to me like that. Not where it felt real." "That's the issue," she said. "Y'all are so used to yelling or dodging, you don't know what to do when someone stands firm." Silence settled. Then she added, "You think you're broken, but you're not. You're bruised. Bruises heal if you stop picking at him." His eyes watered. "You think I can change? I don't think I know. But you've got to stop seeing kindness as weakness and correction as a fight." He nodded. In a whisper, he said, "I'm sorry." She stood, rested a hand on his shoulder. "You're starting. Don't stop." Just when it seemed Jamal was turning a corner, the real challenge hit someone who hadn't changed a bit. Next morning, he walked into Frederick Douglass Middle School, quieterno stomping. No trash talk, no posse. Just a backpack and a head full of half-sorted thoughts. He nodded at the security guarda, Real nod, and kept moving. In room 208, before the bell, Mrs. Brooks was erasing the board. "Today's message. A strong man learns, a wise man hears. He took a front seat, not hiding in the back. Kids filed in, some giving him side-eye, but nobody spoke. The vibe had shifted cleaner, lighter. She caught his eye, nodded on, see no words needed. Class started, but third period brought the test. In the hall, heading to the office with a teacher's note, he walked alone, head down. Then came Corey, Miles' eighth grader, built like a tank, always loud, always pushing. They clashed before, nothing huge, but today Corey was itching for it. As Jamal passed, Corey slammed his shoulder into him. Jamal stumbled. The hall hushed, eyes turning. "What? You ain't gonna say nothing?" Corey taunted, arms out. "You soft now." Old Jamal would have swung, shoved, shouted suspension round two. Instead, he stood still, met Corey's eyes, and said, "You good, man? Need something?" Corey thought that tron. Jamal walked on it fast, not scared, just steady. Corey mumbled, "Man, whatever," but it lacked bite. At the hall's end, Mrs. Brooks stepped out of her room, having seen it all. One word, progress. In a dead no smile needed. That afternoon, she skipped the lecture. Perched on her desk, she told a story her first army year, wanting to quit, feeling invisible. One day, my drill sergeant hard as steel said, "Brooks, you move like a shadow, but your presence rattles the ground." "Every one of you has that," she said. "Stop wasting on people who don't even know who they are." Jamal soaked it in, no need for cheers or crew. He had control, peace, respect not just from others, but himself. After the bell, he waited, then approached her. "Thanks," he said. She didn't ask why, just handed him a folded note from her bag. Inside, in her sharp script, "The loudest voice isn't always the strongest sometimes, it's just the most lost." He tucked it away, a keeper long after she'd retire again, long after middle school. Some lessons don't come from books, they come from people who stand tall, speak truth, and pull you up when it hurts. If you're lucky, you'll meet your Mrs. Brooks before life hits harder. Share this if it moves you. Someone out there might be one choice from a better road, needing just a nudge to see it's possible.